Hey guys, Nick here, and we are back for video build log number 2. This time in Ron's Tesla Model S that he recently got. Me and Ron met a few years back at a get-together that I hosted, where he had an Audi Q7, I think it was, with a nice setup, sounded good. He recently traded it in for this Model S, and he came to me to do the stereo system. So what we're doing here is we're going to use some of the gear that he had in the Audi, being the Helix P6. I think he had the Zapco subwoofer amplifier. I'm not sure if that's new or not, but he supplied it. And we are also going to go with Audio Frog subwoofer and speakers up front, and a FiO M11 digital audio player as an alternate source versus his OEM radio, which isn't always the best option. So yeah, he got the M11 ready. He's liking it, he's loving it. Second customer of mine that's been using it, and no complaints from either of them, so thumbs up to that one. So the goals for this car are, keep it clean, keep the styling, to what the OEM look is, no major modifications, and of course sound quality. So yeah, so what we're doing is we're going to go with the GB10s and the GB25s from Audio Frog in the pillars. We actually have those apart right now. We're not 100% sure what we're going to do yet. We just have them taped up, getting ready for glass. Yeah, we're looking at a few options right now. We would have liked to go with the sail panel for the tweeter to get a little bit more width, but as you can see, there's nowhere to really mount it to, and we don't want to mount permanently to the door panel, and so we're probably going to keep them both in the pillar. That being said, we're also going to go with the 8-inch Audio Development W800 Neo woofers for the doors, and GB12 for a subwoofer in a sealed box that's going to fit right in the what would be the tire well, but it's just a storage compartment in this car. So yeah, stay tuned. For the pillars, we are probably going to do the mid-range and tweeter mounted side by side, mid-range and tweeter. As you saw in the last video in the Mercedes where we did them vertical, we were going to try to do that, but working in here, there wasn't as much space behind the pillar as I anticipated and hoped for. And we're going to sacrifice a few different things from it, but we're also going to gain a few by it. For one, having the tweeter and the mid-range that far back against the glass and dashboard, we're going to minimize comb filtering and push it up to higher octaves. And it should be easier to EQ right out of the gate. That's being hopeful and in theory, but in practice it might be a little different. We'll see. And another benefit of getting the tweeter and mid so deep is that we're going to have excellent depth across the soundstage. I think it's going to be really good. We're going to sacrifice a bit on the width, but I think it's still going to be great. We could even still have great width, because when we close the door, we're going to have them right here just like this. The off-axis response still can reflect off of the glass and still give us great width. I'm sure it'll actually be wider than the pillars, but we'll see. All right, guys, just doing some vector drawing for the Tesla pillars. And this is the shape we have right now. It's gonna be kind of hard to see some of the colors. Up here we have our master. We're doing, we got the GB25 and the GB10. Over here we have an outer lip for it to sink in the grill. And here we have the top layer of the baffle. Down here we have the bottom layer of the baffle, and over here we have the grill. And we're just printing out, cutting out some prototypes right now out of draft board. And I think we finally got it, but we're just going to do a little bit more, and just before we start cutting acrylic, which is a lot more expensive, just so we know what we got. So let's head over there and print some pieces. So it turns out that these are a bit too tall for the spot we want to get them into. So I'm going to have to redesign them a bit. Alright, we are done printing. So here's our upper portion of the baffle and our lower portion of the baffle. This is going to be the driver's side. Alright, so oh yeah, that is going to be nice. This is the baffle we just cut. It fits pretty good. It looks like this is going to be the one we're going with. This is going to be kind of what the angle is that we're going for. You can see it doesn't really take up too much glass space, you know, hardly anything meaningful. And, you know, it's still pretty much kind of on axis and has a nice location for the drivers. And what we're doing here, actually, the OEM pillar comes out past where this baffle is. It comes out more like this, but what we're going to do is we're going to cut out a shape into the pillar and sort of integrate it in and make a shape into the pillar like we do with a lot of our pillar designs. And another thing I want to point out is where we're getting this grill shape from. Where we're getting this from is parts of the car, like these vents or the door. We're trying to follow the same shapes, same lines, same curves that, you know, the people who designed this car have. So let me make this a little brighter, and you can see there a little bit. And, you know, I think this, you know, it's not the exact same shape, but the curves, the lines, I think this is something that the Tesla designers would be, you know, if they were building these, this might be what they would go for. So yeah. I also want to show you guys why, you know, pillars can take so much time. I get a lot of people ask me, oh, can I come down for a day and build pillars like, you know, these ones or those ones? No, probably not, because this is why. This is a whole rendition. This is what we started with for these Tesla pillars. Then we went to this, then we went to this, and then we went to this. And they actually fit really well, like the shape of them and everything. We just had to modify the angles a little bit and the curve. And then we took it from here and we're like, you know what, this rounded part does not really fit in this car. Like, it doesn't fit the look of this car. So we took that. You could see everything over here matches up, but we just, you know, we gave it these you know, this shape over here, this squared off, you know, angled shape over here. And then we realized this is just too big. It's too tall. So we scaled it down a little bit vertically. Again, a little too big. Then we ended up with this. This is probably a whole day's worth of, actually no, not a whole day, probably 4 or 5 hours of, you know, designing, cutting, fitting, editing, cutting, fitting, editing, cutting, fitting, editing. And, you know, now we are ready to cut the acrylic baffle and grill and actually make the final version. All right, so I just printed out the acrylic and final baffles for the Tesla, and as you can see, it's pretty much a perfect fit. Now what we have to do is just, you know, since it's 2 layers, we pretty much just have to bond the 2 together with acrylic cement. We also have yet to cut out the grill and any of the flush mounting pieces because those are at a different thickness. But essentially, this is what we are going to having them end up look like. Plus, you know, grill material. So yeah, should be nice. it's all lined up, like I said, and apply some weight. What are you listening to?
This talk show. Why Cartel dominated the charts from prison. Vybz Cartel.
Oh.
He's in prison, but like they have like a top 10 chart in Jamaica.
And he's on it?
Like the first 5 tracks are all his.
But he's in prison.
And he's in prison. So they're like, how the fuck is he doing this? And that's what they're talking about. You just keep fucking putting out music.
How do you record in prison?
I don't know. Who knows? They're letting that motherfucker out at night. So.
You think so?
How else? His first set of tracks, when he just went in, we could have told that they were from like a phone, because they weren't really clear.
They sounded like crap.
But now it's studio quality music. He's doing this shit in the studio, unless they're bringing the studio to the prison. He's dominating that shit, son, like killing it from prison.